We've done videos like this before, but we really wanted to whittle it down to those top 5 pros and cons, and we're getting after it right now. What's up, guys? This is Jon Burden over at Woosah Properties here in Durango, Colorado. I'm a local real estate agent, and if you're even thinking about moving to Durango, make sure to give us a call, text, email, days, nights, weekends. We've got your back when it comes to moving here to Durango. All right, guys, we're gonna start with the cons. The first big con on the list is snow.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Now, that definitely is a pro as well. People love Durango for the skiing. A lot of people have condos up here at Purgatory Ski Resort. But let me not just say it's snow. It's snow and the cold as well as the ice.
How'd you solve the icing problem?
Icing problem.
Might want to look into it.
No, it doesn't get as cold here as places like Chicago. I was talking to my buddy today, and our low today, the date of filming this is, what is this today? I think it's December 21st or 22nd. And the low today was, I think, 24, 25 degrees. Like the low in Chicago, I think, is like -5.
Oh man, that's cold!
And so it definitely doesn't get much below 0. Generally doesn't hit close to 0, actually. But we definitely can get snow, and then we get that ice. And so really, to me, the downside is the ice and just trying to drive in those tougher conditions, especially if you're not used to it. So really be aware of that. That snow and that cold is something to just be cautious of. Something I've mentioned previously in other videos is when you're shopping for homes, really be aware of things like if you see a home with a big incline driveway, maybe a 12% grade driveway, which is a home that we actually sold recently, it can be a big deterrent because you really want to be aware that if you're living in that home during the winter, you just want to have a good understanding of how you're going to take care of that driveway, be able to plow it. The owners that we were working with had a really easy time. They said, oh, it's no big deal. Like, we've got a system, we've got a tractor. We just roll out there with a tractor, plow it. Even some sellers are willing to just sell the home with the tractor so that you can plow it, and it's not a deterrent for you as well. Some sellers are open to maybe even giving you a credit so that after you buy the home, you can go buy a tractor, put a plow on it, and you're good to go. So keep in mind, like, that doesn't need to be a deterrent, but just be really aware as you get into some of these subdivisions. The homes on the lower end of the subdivision might just be fine, no big deal. As you get higher up, they're gonna have steeper driveways. It's gonna be tougher to get into those homes because of the snow and ice. And some of these subdivisions won't have like a guardrail to go. So you've got to just be very careful. You know, some of these are up in the mountains and there's like a cliffside drop off. So you just want to be really careful and cautious of that. The next con, and forgive me, I got to look down, is just the population of Durango. So we're just under 20,000 in town, about 40,000 for the county. And so that affects us in different ways. There's not as many like groups to join. If you want to join a yoga group that meets by the river or something, or you want to join a running group, like we do have some of those things, but it's not, we don't have nearly the types of groups that you will have in a place like Houston, Chicago, New York, LA, Phoenix. You're not going to have those same types of groups and just connections with people necessarily. Granted, we are a smaller town, so you do have a lot more of that small town feel. And so kind of in the inverse, it can, having a small population can be a really good positive as well. And so it also limits hours on restaurants. You'll see hours on restaurants open at 2 p.m., shut down at 9, and not a lot of places stay open late. And sometimes you'll have restaurants shut down for 2 weeks out of the year or a month out of the year. You'll see some stuff like that happen as well. And the next thing is there is no real mall.
This is impossible.
You know, just kind of lined up with just the population. A lot of the shopping you've got to do either online or Walmart, especially men's clothing. It's harder to find stuff. We do have stuff down in Farmington, such as Target, and we've got Chick-fil-A down there. We don't have a Chick-fil-A up here. So just the shopping is more limited out this way. The next thing is there's not much for sports options for kids. So we have some friends that are in soccer, and during the soccer season they were having to travel down to Albuquerque quite a bit, And so that's about a 3.5 to 4 hour, about a 3.5 hour drive, depending on what part of town you live in or if you live further outside of downtown Durango. But that can be something to really factor in. And then the kids are traveling quite a bit. It's just a small town to get to the next town. Like Pagosa Springs is an hour away. Sometimes they're going to travel to Telluride, which is 2 hours away. The next con is really going to be the shortage of water. So depending on the neighborhood you live in, we have some friends when they bought, they were fine. There wasn't an issue with water. They had a well, and now those wells are, I'm not sure if they're drying up or what the exact issue is, but they don't have water. And so they're hauling water in. They're having to put a cistern in on their property. And so just really looking into that in the subdivision you're looking in the area you're looking in. And I've got a great connection with someone that works with the city that can tell you about water rights, and say you're looking at a property that does have water rights, or maybe the water rights are kind of limited. And so if you're looking at a property, definitely reach out to us. We can give you a great connection that will give you an understanding of, no, you're going to be good to go in this area. Or yeah, maybe you want to put in a well, a deeper well. And we always are cautious to make sure you get a well inspection. Make sure you get a cistern looked at if they have a cistern. Just make sure we do all the due diligence properly so you're taken care of in that area. The next con is going to be the wildlife.
Bear, a bear.
Now, of course, this is an absolute pro as well. The wildlife is incredible. We just had some deer walking through our backyard yesterday. We were going for, what were we doing? We were four-wheeling last fall with my wife and a friend of hers, and they saw a moose just walking through the forest, and it was just really, really cool. My buddy, a few of my friends are hunting, so it's not like to go hunting, you got to go far. We've got incredible fishing, so of course that's a plus. But we've also had some really sad incidences with bears, with mountain lions. You have heard of people going hiking and not coming back, and so there is that threat and that concern of wildlife as well that you really want to be prepared for and just be cautious of as well. All right, guys, now let's jump into the fun part, the pros. And of course, a lot of those on the list of the cons were pros in a way too. Like, you might want to be moving here because of the wildlife, because of the small town and the smaller population and the better connection you can have with friends and family and people here. So a lot of those things on the cons list, I will say, for us, honestly, are a pro. Like, I love the wildlife here, but it's something that can be taken as a con and something to be aware of. So jumping into the pros list, this skiing, cross country and downhill skiing, as well as snowshoeing, just all the snow sports are incredible. They've got sleigh rides that they do that are really cool, just up north of Durango. They've got a dog sledding kind of excursion that they do as well. Really cool, worth looking into. There's just some awesome, epic stuff that you can do here. There's a company out of Uray that does I don't know if the right term is expeditions, but they do training courses on like mountaineering. They'll take you up Engineer Mountain, a bunch of other mountains in the area in the winter. And so some awesome things to do in the winter. We've got Wolf Creek ski area as well. We've got Vallecito, the Nordic Center. So Vallecito is over by Vallecito Lake, that is east of Durango. And then we've got the Nordic Center. The Nordic Center is up north of Durango, pretty close to Purgatory. And that's an awesome cross-country skiing area, which is like groomed trails, really cool. And then you've got Haviland Lake, which we just went, haven't gone this year yet, but we went snowshoeing on it last year. My wife and I loved it. It's really fun. Again, that's where we saw the sleigh rides going on. And then then just in the neighborhoods, I just wanted to mention, I looked in my notes, I'm like, why did I write neighborhoods? But the cross-country skiing in the neighborhoods is really cool. So you've got Hillcrest golf course as well, that just came to mind. But while I'm thinking of neighborhoods that are kind of around that area, you can cross-country ski on the Hillcrest golf course as well. But then neighborhoods are a neighborhood like Dalton Ranch. They can cross-country ski on the golf course. Then places like the Ranch, which is just north of Dalton Ranch, you can cross-country ski in their 31-acre nature preserve. Then you've got places like Edgemont. Edgemont Ranch, Edgemont Highlands, Edgemont Meadows. They've got a gorgeous area right by the river, the Florida River, that they can cross-country ski on. There's definitely some others. And so that's a huge pro. Like just the skiing, the snow, all of that is awesome. Next, we have over 300 miles of biking trails, especially if you live in town. You've got Horse Gulch. You've got stuff that connects to Horse Gulch. You've got stuff that connects over to Three Springs, which is kind of east of Durango. You've got more kid-friendly biking trails. And just the views when you top out at some of this stuff is really, really cool. The next one on my list is proximity to just tons of other incredible towns, like the proximity to Moab, even Denver, Pagosa, Silverton, Telluride, Ouray. Uray's an hour away. Telluride's about 2 hours away. Albuquerque is about 3.5 hours away. Moab, I want to say it's 5-ish hours, 4.5. Phoenix, you're about 6. So you've got this incredible kind of range of places just around you. Then the next one is just going to be incredible fly fishing. My pastor, a really good friend of mine, has told me that he had a friend that told him that he thinks that Durango is the #1 spot as far as location and proximity to the best fly fishing in the country. So we've got the Animas River running through us. We're only a few hours away from the Gunnison, which I went and fished with him just last year, and it was insane. It was incredible, guys. If you haven't fished the Gunnison yet, you've got to do that. And so we've got the Animas. Then we've got world-renowned fly fishing on the San Juan River, which is only 45 minutes south of us, roughly. That fishing is incredible. If you don't know about the San Juan River, feel free to shoot me a message or comment. Happy to tell you more about that area. Grabbing a guide is really important, in my opinion, unless you already really know what you're doing, because those fish are really picky, and but they're average 20-inch fish in there. It's awesome. The next thing is just the incredible location and kind of mecca you are here as far as related to being close to hikes, being close to just incredible scenery. Like as you go north, there's awesome four-wheeling that you can do. You can do four-wheeling on Old Lime Creek Road. That's a really like kind of beginner level four-wheeling. And so be sure to check some of those areas out as you go north of town. Kind of look up some of those maps for four-wheeling and hiking. Just the proximity to different hikes and four-wheeling is stunning. Guys, if you're even thinking about moving to Durango, we are licensed realtors here in Durango. Make sure to give us a call, text, email, days, nights, weekends. We've got your back when it comes to moving to Durango. Thank you so much for watching, guys.